Welcome everybody back to another episode of Marvel Snap. Today I'm looking at the February Season Pass cards in regards to being 40 days in advance. That's right, I'm having a quick future thought to see what the cards look like now and seeing what they will look like later on in the months to come. So what I'll be speaking of in this one, which will be featured, is the Black Swan, which her ability is, on reveal, until the end of next turn, your one-cost cards cost 0. So I have a few ideas in mind with this one. This could really go well with the Khazar deck, Swarm deck, or it could possibly go well with an Invisible Woman type of style Swarm deck. I'll show you an example of this one. Okay, so with this deck I have included in, it's one of my favourite Swarm decks, is the Invisible Woman with Blue Marvel package. I could easily replace either a Shang-Chi or the Rogue to put in Swan, Black Swan. From there, that would make Ant-Man, Hawkeye, and Squirrel Girl cost 1. Generally, I would play Hawkeye a turn beforehand in advance for this one. That way she compares with Khazar and Shana. If you really want to, you could add in Falcon and or Beast, depending on your playstyle. Mystique and the Blue Marvel play is a very good finisher with the Invisible Woman. Or if you don't get that lucky, you can always do the Khazar into Mystique. I've also included in this deck Zabu, which decreases the cost of the Khazar, Shang-Chi, and also the other ones you want to play in regards to Khazar on turn 3 or 4, which you could easily do a Khazar with Squirrel Girl, which wins you those lockdown locations, well, not the Professor X ones, more like the Sanctum or Death's Domain or things like those. So that's one example of a deck you could do with that. Another one you could possibly do is a possible Angela Bishop deck. Just for a turn, it could work out well. You could replace either of these cards for, like the example of Hit Monkey, between turn 5 and 6. She could turn out well. But just remember what her ability says. Until the end of next turn, your one-cost cards cost 0. It's not for the whole game, so keep it in mind. It's on reveal, not ongoing. So for the likes of Kitty Pryde, the Hood, or if you have the Demon, that's even better, Bast. Mysterio would go well for that final turn with Hit Monkey, buffing up your Bishop. Also, Beast is a good backup just in case you don't draw the Black Swan. In regards to that, Falcon is another good one, so that way you can get your Kitty Pryde, Hawkeyes all back up. So this is the second type of deck you could do for that, bounce compared to just a Zoo Swarm deck. So good tech cards with that could include Enchantress, Sarah, again, just in case you do not have the Black Swan. Push everything straight out onto the board. Mysterio, final turn. Hit Monkey, one-cost cards. You got to probably fall on over 10 power plus Hit Monkey. I believe it may work very well. Again, these are just my ideas, so this may not be the best deck for you. And I feel I would be most comfortable with this deck. You be more than welcome to change any of these tech cards around, like for armor, anything like that, just in case you're worried about Bishop or Hit Monkey getting destroyed by Shang-Chi. Even the likes of Shadow King, maybe a Cosmo might fit in here, but that is completely up to you. I would feel most comfortable with the slight alteration of this deck. And before it gets to the meantime of the card coming out, the description may change. So looking forward to see how the card turns out in February. Let's move on to the next card. Okay, next card we got up here is Supergiant. Her description says, on reveal, all cards played this turn and next turn don't reveal until the game ends. So I believe with Supergiant, she would go very well with either Corvius Glaive, another Black Order card, and Proxima Midnight. Now, the reason I say that is discard deck is going to be big this season in February, and I feel it's going to be absolutely fun. These types of cards I'm going to try my best to save up for in the key caches, key spotlight caches, sorry. And I'm looking forward to see how Corvus Glaive goes with Supergiant and or Proxima Midnight in a discard deck. I do have an example of this, so let's get straight into it.
They say the only thing colder than the depths of space is the icy grip of death itself.
So just an example off the top of my head in regards to this one. I believe I would possibly go with the Morbius Swarm discard deck. I would generally replace Hellcow. Hellcow is just the card I would use for Corvus Glaive. In regards to Supergiant, it could work in a discard deck, or if you're feeling lucky, you could put them in an Invisible Woman deck, so that way you have the more chance of doing a discard and also slowing down their play. If they're playing a bounce deck, you'll severely slow them down, destroy. There's a possible chance you can do Cosmo, depending on your order, reveal order, and who has priority. I would say if you want to go the Gambit style, you can, but the procs for Apocalypse will be big if Corvus Glaive is paid on this one. So we'll do the 2-3 cards of discard. Corvus Glaive with Proxima Midnight will be very beneficial because her ability says, as it states, when this is discarded, jumps to your lowest power location that isn't full. Keep that in mind. She will not jump to a location where everything is filled up. And Corvus Glaive's ability is, on reveal, discard 2 cards from your hand and get +1 max energy. I would believe that is carrying on every turn, but I'm not sure if that's just the one turn, similar to X23, so I have a feeling that may be the case. So in regards to those two abilities, they proc off each other very well. You could also maybe try this in further different variations of discard decks. I don't believe it would work too well in a Thanos deck, but I'm willing to try out different variations, different ideas, and different ones that you believe could work out too. So in regards to that, Dracula would be a good hit with the Apocalypse and Corvus Glaive. Just make sure you got Dracula on the field, and that way Corvus Glaive can get the Apocalypse and the Dracula out. Or if you're feeling lucky, you could do Supergiant into Corvus Glaive and MODOK, so that way you can get 3 procs, which is a possibility with Apocalypse and Swarm, so I find that one a very good idea too. But in general terms of other decks, at the moment I find discard will be the most popular. And moving on with the other card, which was Supergiant, which reads, all cards played this turn and next turn don't reveal until the game ends. As you can see here, all cards played this turn and next turn don't reveal until the game ends will definitely work well with Corvus Glaive into a possible MODOK play. If it works out, if you do have Hellcow or another discard card at that time, like Blade perhaps, you could try that. But you got to keep this in mind. All cards played this turn and next turn don't reveal until the game ends. So just remember what cards you play, which order you play them in, and which way it's going to carry out at the end of the game. So you wouldn't want to trigger a MODOK before, or a Hela before a MODOK play. It will not work, and you have severely lost the game. So keep in mind how you play these cards with these abilities, and with good practice, you'll get it straight through and forward. So let's move on to our final card, which will be Cull Obsidian. Now with Cull Obsidian, his description says you can only play this at a location with an Infinity Stone. Ongoing, can't be destroyed. So Shang-Chi is out of the question with this card. Let's move straight on to a deck guide with this one and see which one. I've got one in mind, but over the course of time, I'll have a look at different variations of decks. I could use them in with Thanos. Let's get straight to it. With this deck in mind with Cull Obsidian, I was thinking more of the blob approach with no Professor X lockdown. So in regards to this, I have a few ways of doing this. I love the Lockjaw version. There's a different version you could use of the Cull Obsidian deck if you wish. You could use different Gamora decks, Lockdown decks, and or Daredevil. But I feel more comfortable with a Lockjaw RNG type of base deck. So what I'm working with here is the Lockjaw, Killmonger, and Wasp early on package with the wave. So generally, the ideal turn play ones would be, you have the Infinity Stones, Mind Stone would be a turn 1 good play. Moving on to turn 2, drawing Lockjaw, or e.g. starting with Wasp. Turn 3, straight onto Lockjaw into Wasp. Moving forward, if you get Wave, that's very good for either Devil Dinosaur, Leech, Vision, and if you RNG cycle them through Lockjaw, this is a very good start, especially Vision. Blob is there as a really good security win type of play, but you don't have to play him. Thanos, especially all the stones in regards to that with Cull Obsidian, make sure you play a stone at that location. That is the requirement for Cull Obsidian. I would probably recommend playing maybe Time Stone on turn 2. That way you can play Cull Obsidian on turn 3. Or vice versa with any other stone. Up to you. But all these other high cost cards are there for blob. Vision is there for maneuverability, so that way you have a different advantage. Devil Dinosaur for any other play, because all the cards you have in your hand will be big, and it's going to be hard to discard them or get rid of them sometimes. Shang-Chi for the plays that get too high, and Leech just in case things get a bit crazy and you have a bit of more maneuverability on turn 6. That's one deck idea. I'm sure there may be many more in the future for Cull Obsidian, but let's get straight to the other card selection board. There you have it. I'm definitely looking forward to the February season pass. I know this is way in advance, but I like keeping things on an earlier schedule, and also that I have time. I haven't been feeling the best today, so I thought I'd try and make a different type of video. I'm not used to making too many videos about future upcoming cards and my thoughts and ideas. I like expressing my creativity with different possible decks that could work. And if they don't, and you have further ideas, please let me know. I may not be 100% correct with certain ideas that may synergize the best with them, but these are my thoughts. And I'm absolutely excited to see how you guys work with Black Swan, Supergiant, Cull Obsidian, Corvus Glaive, and especially the Corvus Glaive and Proxima Midnight Wombo combo. So until then, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.